Okay, now for the third part, I put this line here. This is going to be the fold of the eye, and I'm going to start in the middle of the eye now. And I'm going to start with the middle of my eye here, which I'm going to have as a dark ultramarine blue and black. Okay, and I'm going to clean my brush, and then what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to add some blue with some green and black along the edge here. And you can do this with a smaller brush. I'm just really comfortable using this brush. But if I tell students in the beginning, if you're not that comfortable holding a large brush and doing a lot of detail, then use your smaller brush, because you'll get used to it. I'm doing this a little bit larger on camera so you can see it a little bit better. Usually I wouldn't use a brush this size. Okay, and now I kind of have this blue area. It almost looks like a target, right? And the next thing is I kind of have to fill in these colors in the middle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this wet on wet so they blend. And I'm adding a little bit of blue, green, and white. I'm kind of filling in this spot here around this black of the eye. It's okay if your brush touches a little bit of the black and you drag it in. Now I kind of have this. Okay, and then you're going to start bringing in your other color greens. And here I have a green. I'm mixing a little bit of green, blue, yellow, and white. And I want to put those colors down to have a little bit of a contrast. And I'm going to put a little bit of white so I can see those colors. Start bringing them out. So this blue is light. It's much lighter than the blue that we're laying on top, and then we're going to kind of lay that color on top. So now we have this dark blue, and we have this greenish blue in the middle. Okay, and then I'm looking at where I have light in my eyes. I might have, you know, little reflections of light here, so I'm going to even make this a little bit lighter. And I might have them going throughout the eyes. And remember when I told you the eyes kind of look like spokes? So when I'm using my brush, I'm kind of curving it. I'm going like this. I'm taking the paint and I'm going around a half circle and an arch. I'm making these little shapes going around, going around the eye. And that just reinforces that shape that we spoke about, that the eye actually has those little spokes in them. And we're going to start bringing out the color even more. And I'm going to add a little bit more tea white because I want to make the color even a little bit brighter and enhance it inside, because a lot is going on. Now, if you're working with oils, you definitely want to let this dry and then do the next layer on top. With acrylics, it'll dry a lot faster. And if you just want to work wet on wet with the acrylics and you don't want to let it dry, then you can do that, but you have to press very lightly with the brush. You cannot press too hard. If you press too hard, the colors are going to blend together, and you're not going to be happy with the results. You won't have any details. And that's okay if you wanted to do it a little bit abstract. With the palette knife too, you'd have to wait for it to dry. So now we have this blue and white on top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in there. And you don't have to put yellow all over. Put yellow in some areas and you're going to blend it. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to use some more blue and white. Now remember, if I had browns, I could be using a lighter brown, a lot of white. And at this point we kind of have to let it dry. And then we'll come back because we don't want it to get too muddy. And then we can come back and we can put some lighter colors and some more blues on top. But again, we'll have to wait for it to dry. So while it's drying, I am going to work on this dark area around here. And I kind of want to blend that area into this white area. Because if you look in the eye, it's not 100% even. You'll see some parts, the light coming out and the dark coming out into the light. That circle is not a full 100% circle, right? It's not a perfect circle. And this is the best that we can do for now. We'll have to wait until this dries, and then we'll come back and we'll add a little bit more detail. But this is the way the eye is looking now. Okay, we're just building it up, and you can see all those layers underneath. Okay.